Do you remember those old-school station wagons that roamed across America? Back when your parents packed the trunk to the brim, the kids piled into the back, maybe even facing backward in that third-row seat, and the whole family sped down the summer highway. They didn't look like much, but what if I told you some of them were actually faster than sports cars? Yep. A few wagons were hiding muscle car hearts beneath all that practical sheet metal. Real sleepers, quiet as a family hauler, but capable of burning rubber if you dared to push the pedal down. In this video, we're diving into 11 of the most powerful, bizarre, and forgotten station wagons ever made, from the 1950s to the early 2000s. And by the end, you just might start looking at old family wagons in a whole new light. Number 1, 1970 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser 455. Who would have thought a family wagon like the Vista Cruiser could run neck and neck with a 442 muscle car? That's exactly what happened in 1970. Oldsmobile offered an option for a massive 455 cubic inch V8. The same powerhouse found in the legendary 442. That's 7.5 liters of displacement and serious torque, built to haul or to haul ass. Despite being a 3-row, full-sized wagon tipping the scales at over 2 tons, the Vista Cruiser could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 6 seconds, a number that would impress even pure muscle cars. Yet, on the outside, it looked completely tame. Signature skylight roof, slanted C-pillar design, and not a single sporty badge in sight. To the untrained eye, it was just another drop the kids off at school kind of car. And that's what made it the perfect sleeper wagon. A machine hiding raw power under a calm suburban shell. No spoilers, no stripes, no fuss. Just pure muscle for those who knew what they were driving. To this day, when gearheads talk about the ultimate sleepers, the Vista Cruiser 455 always makes the list. A quiet legend in the world of American wagons. Number 2, 1996 Buick Roadmaster Lot 1. If you've ever seen an early 90s Buick Roadmaster wagon rolling by, you probably thought, "That's my uncle's car." It's long, boxy, chrome-trimmed, with a roofline that screams retirement. But what you wouldn't guess is that under the hood lives a Corvette engine. From 1994 to 1996, the Roadmaster was equipped with the 5.7-liter LT 1V8, the same one found in the C4 Corvette. It was slightly detuned for smoother manners, but still cranked out 260 horsepower, more than enough to turn this 2-ton wagon into a quiet beast. And its disguise? Flawless. No spoilers, no raised hood bulge, no sport badge in sight. Just a car that looked like it belonged in a grocery store parking lot until the light turned green. Inside, it was pure Buick comfort. Cushy leather seats, floaty suspension, a rear-facing third row, classic American family cruiser vibes. But every time you stomped the throttle and heard that low V8 growl, you were reminded this wasn't just a Buick. Number 3, 1959 Pontiac Bonavville Safari. In the late 1950s, if you wanted a station wagon that was both luxurious and packed a punch under the hood, the 1959 Pontiac Bonavville Safari was one of the rare few that delivered on both fronts. Pontiac branded all of its wagons as Safari, a unique name to set them apart from the rest of GM's lineup. But with the Bonavville Safari, they didn't just change the name. They stuffed in a 389 cubic inch V8, making about 300 horsepower, an impressive number for the era. Despite its size and weight, the car could move with surprising grace. People admired its shimmering chrome trim, gracefully arched fenders, and an interior spacious enough to feel like a rolling lounge. But few expected it to be a cruiser that could move with muscle car-like urgency. The Safari wasn't quite a sleeper in the modern sense. Its flashy looks gave away some of its presence, but that blend of style and muscle made it iconic. You didn't need to shout on the road. You just had to glide by and let that deep engine note do the talking. Number 4, 2006 Dodge Magnum SRT8. This wasn't your typical school-run grocery getter. It was made to show off and demand attention. Under the hood was a 6.1-liter Hemi V8, cranking out 425 horsepower, a number that would make many sports coupes nervous. And yet, this was still a real wagon. Big cargo space, folding rear seats, and a profile just tame enough to blend in at the grocery store. Its design was all Dodge. Squared-off nose, aggressive front grille, sharp headlights. You knew it meant business the moment you saw it. But it was the deep bark from the dual exhaust that really turned heads when you hit the throttle. Built on the same platform as the Dodge Charger and Chrysler 300, the Magnum handled like a performance sedan. Tight suspension, solid steering, Brembo brakes. It wasn't what anyone expected from a station wagon, and that's exactly the point. The Magnum SRT8 was one of the first wagons in decades to put muscle car spirit back into a family-sized package. No disguise, no pretense, just raw performance in long roof form. And to this day, it remains a rare, rebellious icon in the wagon world. Number 5, 1957 Chevrolet Nomad Fuel-y. If there's one station wagon that could be called the origin of the muscle wagon, it has to be the 1957 Chevrolet Nomad with the Fuel-y option. At the time, the Nomad was a stylish wagon aimed at younger buyers, people who wanted wagon practicality but with a little flair. Then Chevrolet dropped a bombshell, a 283 cubic inch V8 paired with fuel injection, a cutting-edge technology back then. The result? Up to 283 horsepower, achieving the legendary 1 horsepower per cubic inch ratio, a milestone in American engineering. And remember, this was a wagon, not a coupe or a convertible. The Nomad Fuel-y could outrun many high-end sports cars of the 1950s. But it wasn't just fast. It looked incredible, too. Bold chrome grille, sharp tail fins, slanted rear glass. It looked like a piece of art that could fly. Today, the Nomad Fuel-y is extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors worldwide. Number 6, 1966 Chrysler Town and Country 440 Tint. In 1966, Chrysler quietly introduced a special version of the Town and Country wagon that completely redefined what a family hauler could be. It came with the 440 TNT V8. And no, TNT wasn't just for show. It stood for tenacity and torque, which perfectly described the engine's character. With 365 horsepower and nearly 480 pound-feet of torque, the 66 Town and Country wasn't just powerful, it was surprisingly powerful. This big wagon could easily dust small sports cars at a stoplight. And the best part? No one saw it coming. Its exterior screamed upper-middle-class comfort. Faux wood paneling, plush living room-sized interior, and suspension soft enough to rival a limo. Chrysler didn't make a big fuss about the TNT package. They let it exist quietly, a hidden gem only real car guys knew about. And that's why the Town and Country 440 TNT has earned its status as a true sleeper. No flash, no bragging, just the power to leave jaws on the floor when it mattered. Number 7, 1996 Chevrolet Caprice Light 1 Wagon. At first glance, the mid-90s Caprice wagon didn't look like much. Long body, low roofline, round tail lights, it screamed retired police car or middle school field trip vehicle. But here's what most people didn't know. It shared its engine with the Corvette. From 1994 to 1996, Chevrolet equipped the Caprice wagon with the 5.7-liter LT1 V8, producing 260 horsepower. Not a huge number on paper, but with plenty of torque. It turned this nearly 2-ton wagon into a quiet street assassin. It could seat up to 8 passengers and still had room in the back for a week-long family vacation. But stomp the pedal, and the tires would chirp just enough to remind you, this wasn't your average kiddie hauler. Its perfect disguise made the Caprice LT one wagon a true sleeper. No stripes, no spoilers, no bulging hood. Just a mix of old-school body-on-frame charm, smooth suspension, and a Corvette heart ticking quietly underneath. Today, the Caprice LT1 wagon has become a cult favorite. Some owners upgrade it further, but even stock, it was more than enough to surprise anyone who got overtaken by a so-called family car. Number 8-1971 Chevrolet Kingswood 454. The Chevrolet Kingswood was one of the largest station wagons GM ever built, big enough to carry 9 passengers without sacrificing trunk space. But the real legend behind this long-roof monster wasn't its size. It was what lived under the hood. From 1970 to 1972, buyers could order the Kingswood with the 454 big block V8, the same engine found in Chevy's top-tier muscle cars. With the LS5 version making up to 365 horsepower, this massive wagon could move with startling speed, especially considering its size and heft. Driving a Kingswood 454 felt like piloting a stretched-out Chevelle SS, with 2 extra rows of seats and a trunk big enough for a refrigerator. Yet visually, it didn't look threatening. Boxy silhouette, chrome accents, round headlights. No one suspected this was a beast in disguise. The Kingswood was a product of a brief but glorious era, when you could buy a wagon to take your kids to school and quietly command enough firepower to dominate the drag strip. It may not have the fame of the Impala SS or Chevelle, but to those who know, the Kingswood 454 is a true hidden gem. Number 9-2006 Chrysler 300CE Touring SRT8. Unlike any American wagon before it, it was built to take on high-performance European rivals like the BMW M5 Touring and Mercedes E55 AMG. In North America, the touring body style wasn't as common as the sedan, but in Europe and among serious gearheads, it quickly became an underground legend thanks to its eye-opening performance. Under the hood was a 6.1-liter Hemi V8 delivering 425 horsepower, paired with rear-wheel drive and a 5-speed automatic. It could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, blisteringly fast for a nearly 2-ton wagon. Its styling was unmistakably American. Massive grille, wide intakes, bold and beefy proportions, but hit the throttle, and the exhaust note shouted something more like, "I'm not here for groceries, I'm here to race." Beyond the power, the 300C Touring had composure. Thanks to its chassis shared with the Mercedes-Benz E-Class W211, it handled surprisingly well. A fusion of Detroit muscle and German engineering, it remains one of the most compelling sleeper wagons of its era. Number 10-1970 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser 455. Before the Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser became the sleeper legend we know, the brand laid the groundwork with something bigger, heavier, but still shockingly powerful. The first-generation 1970 Custom Cruiser. This was the very first wagon to carry the Custom Cruiser name. And it didn't disappoint. Under the hood was the 455 cubic inch V8, shared with the 442 and other performance-oriented Oldsmobiles of the era. With around 365 horsepower and loads of torque, The custom cruiser could rip down highways like an armored bullet train. But you'd never guess that just by looking at it. Long body, loads of chrome, and an interior like a rolling living room, it looked more like something you'd take on a family picnic than to a street race. What made the 1970 custom cruiser special was its blend of big block power, everyday usability, and hidden speed. It signaled the start of an era when wagons weren't just for hauling. They became part of America's high-speed culture. Today, the custom cruiser doesn't get much spotlight, but for die-hard car lovers, it's one of the earliest and purest sleeper wagons to ever hit the streets. Number 11-1967 Ford Country Squire 428. From the outside, it looked like just another classic wood-paneled wagon. But the Country Squire 428 was Ford's secret weapon in the late 60s. This wasn't the Cobra Jet version, but the Thunderbird spec 428 cubic inch V8, making around 345 horsepower and over 460 pound-feet of torque. That kind of power meant this big, heavy wagon could launch hard, fast enough to catch sports coupes off guard. The Country Squire could seat up to 9 passengers, with a rear-facing third row and a cargo area the size of a small garage. But all it took was one growl from under the hood for people to realize. This was no picnic mobile. Its appearance was peak American family car. Big windows, long body, wood grain siding, and it completely hid its muscle. This was the definition of a classic sleeper. It surprised you only after it was too late. Today, the 428th version is incredibly rare. Few know it existed, and even fewer remember that Ford once slipped serious muscle into a wagon that looked like a grocery hauler. A perfect closer to a list of the most quietly dangerous wagons ever built. We've just explored 11 sleeper wagons, cars that hid serious muscle beneath everyday family car looks. Each one proves something simple, but powerful. Real strength doesn't always have to shout. From Ford to Oldsmobile, Chevy to Chrysler, these American automakers quietly tucked performance hearts into unassuming wagons. That's what made them special. No badges, no stripes, just the ability to surprise anyone with a tap of the pedal. If you've driven one, owned one, or just admire them from afar, drop your favorite in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because the world of cars is full of sleepers, and some of the best stories are still hiding under the hood.